No one wants to see potato chips.
You know, that you're going to be living in a house, back in a house with a washing machine.
Yeah.
So, just focus on that one before getting you. I love you.
Love you too.
Get to work. Call me if you need anything. I look forward to seeing you tonight.
Okay. Yeah. I actually don't believe it. It's happened so quickly, I haven't really had time to process anything. Mom's worried airports are gonna close, so I'm packing tonight. I'm leaving Chicago tonight. I understand why all this is happening, but you still can't help but wonder how we're gonna survive if this is causing this much trouble. Is no one actually checking if things are okay? Obviously not. Apparently most of what we do in our society is a complete distraction. I feel like this virus is as much of a psychological virus as it is an actual one. I don't think we'll ever be the same after this psychologically, because we've all realized how meaningless a lot of our actions and a lot of our day-to-day lives are. Existentially, what we don't want to face is that we are evil creatures. We're not good for the world. It's pretty obvious, and rooted within us, the devil is within us all, and there's no sense of unity or culture in America, which is where I live. There's very little shared tradition, and if there is, they're controversial, and there's not really a sense of community like there are in some other countries. And I think it's going to be up to our generation, to the future, to either establish a sense of community and check in on people, or basically we're going to reinvigorate our humanity, or we're going to keep distorting it. And I think this is a crossroads where either we're going to start distorting it even more, or we're going to have to finally face our humanity. I'm really going to miss this room a lot. I love this room more than anything. This room's always been there for me. I've met everything just about in this room. A lot of my best memories are in this room. I remember friends, making music with friends in here, and just being loud in here, and laughing in here, and crying in here, and living in here. And no moment is as powerful and as bleak as this one.
Not in the back, laughing, listening to trap in the suburbs, on our way to AMC, parking lots of pink gummies, simple like the greatest pleasures.
I can't believe I have to leave this place. I can't believe I have to leave this place. I actually can't believe it. I don't believe it still. It's so rushed. Everything is so rushed. It's so jarring. 2 weeks ago, this was literally a meme. And then it became very real. And it affected everybody's life. It just shows you how connected everything is. You hear about bad things happening. You don't ever think you're going to be a part of them in any sort of way. You think that unlucky, and you're kind of taught this way, especially if you grow up in an area that's very suburban background, like me, a very privileged point of view, where I haven't really seen the world around me be unpleasant. The world around me has pretty much constantly been, well, it's hard to avoid unpleasantness, suffering, and seeing this kind of stuff, even when you're a child. But at the same time, I don't live in an area where cops will senselessly beat me and profile me as an object of something almost not human. I'm very lucky. So it's weird to see the world. It's weird to finally see something bad happen in the world that has affected me in such a profound way for so many months. It's gonna change things around here, and it's gonna change our environment. It's gonna change us. And realizing that in history, that's what happens, and finally facing it is a very fascinating but draining and tough experience. a couple people on this flight.
Peddling this shit that I know I cannot handle. You ask how I'm feeling dismantled. She asking me what's wrong, I went and told her that it's handled. I did for so long that my emotions have been cancelled. I'm reaping what I saw, I swear I'm just a fucking idiot. Pity anyone who even cares to fucking give a shit. It's that time of my life where I go through a crucial period. Don't know if I'll make it cause this shit's getting too serious. I know you look up to me, you can't see my eyes though. I can't bear to see myself, so I just keep my eyes closed. I'm loving my life when I be running from the 5-0. Popping all those pills until I'm in a different time zone. She said that she want me, so she text me on my iPhone, asking what I'm smoking on. I'm smoking on these rhinestones. Been so angry lately that somebody's gonna die. If it ain't somebody else's life, I swear it's gonna be mine. I swear it's gonna be mine. Why can't I stop the crime? Everybody always lying. What do you want from me? I'm trying. I swear it's gonna be mine.
Wow, so cool. Wow, cool montage. But wait, I just want to make something clear. Real life is not a montage. And if things didn't work out for you during COVID, you know, it was a very serious time. You might have lost someone. You might not have had the same financial support that I did. And I just want you to know that if it didn't work out for you, it's not your fault. And I love you. And you're good, you know? Because it wasn't under your control. I'd say the only thing that I personally did to make my life work out was do things that I was scared of, okay? That was the number one key, is every time something was within my reach, but I was scared to do it, there was a lot of times when I did succumb to my fear and I didn't do it and I was kind of shy, but all it took was those times where I did reach out and try to make a connection and try to face my fear and, you know, talk to someone new and maybe like approach someone that I was scared to approach. And the more I made these creative, lofty goals in my head, like, oh, I'm going to go to New York and talk to people about the election during election week. And I just want to see how America's doing. I want to see how people are reacting to all this crazy stuff that's happening in America. I actually went and did it at a time when plane tickets were cheap. I don't want to hear any excuses. There are things that are within your reach that you could be doing to grow. And I'd say the only thing is, if things haven't been working out for you, just try to do things that push you outside of your comfort zone, that are within your reach. Whatever you have was given to you for a reason, and if you use what you have, you too can create an awesome world for yourself. But you know, my life's not perfect. Like, in that montage during those 3 years, you don't see when I'm fucking waking up, having to go to Shake Shack, crying, like wanting to kill myself, like getting to work and not being able to go in because I'm just looking around and I'm realizing that the whole world, all this suffering, people having to go to work every day at a job that they don't like, it's all just for money. That's it. For someone else to make a shit ton of money and leave all of us with like the breadcrumbs, so that we still are forced to work these jobs. That's why they don't raise the wages. Because if they raise the wages, people would be able to build their own infrastructure, and then they wouldn't need to work these shitty jobs anymore. It all just comes down to me wanting people to be happier and enjoy their lives more. I feel like since the Industrial Revolution and since jobs and everything, it's been like hard to like even get a grip on anything because everything's just moving so fast. But like, I think it's our time as young people, as creatives, to create a new world. Not through tearing down the world we have now, because I think it would be too violent. The seed that would have to be planted has to be peaceful. And I think that's through creating agriculturally independent communities where instead of having these giant companies provide us with our essential needs, like a whole neighborhood can come together and they all invest in one building that's an indoor garden powered by solar power that grows all the food for that whole neighborhood. And if we do that in every neighborhood, then slowly communities will start to get fed and all the food can be free. It's all just paid by the neighborhood. They all invest in it together. They all own it together. It's like a co-op kind of thing. Like agricultural independence, schooling has to be less about memorization than propaganda and more about the real essentials of life. How to build houses, how to grow food, how to clean rivers, how to clean water, more on survival. Because if all of us knew how to survive without capitalism, without having to go to the grocery store, think of how much more free time we would have. Because the way our system works right now, it's not only that the system is unfair, it's that other ways of life, like more native ways of life, less damaging ways of life towards the earth, are being stomped out by this way of life. The capitalistic, nationalistic way of life is burning the land for all other communities of people to grow food there. And it's like, it's all just backwards, but I think as a generation we can come together and we can really like figure out how to like move forward here. And I think revolution and, you know, uprising against the man, all that stuff is important, but I think first we have to prove a concept. We have to prove that we are willing to carry ourselves before we just like say, we, you know, like fuck all these corporations and then we all starve, you know? And we need a proof of concept. We need to prove that it can work. And we need to prove that a community of people are happier this way. All the benefits that a self-sustaining community should bring to itself. Our communities could be much stronger. We'd all get to know each other more, our neighbors, we'd all be more connected. I feel like this is the next direction that I'm trying to make art and creativity and become just like an icon and just make music and bring the people together. It's all for the goal of having enough resources to be able to build this like self-sustaining community. And I'm not trying to be a cult leader or anything. I would not be the leader of it. It would be a co-op kind of thing. Like I would have the same vote as everyone else. I want you to comment down below. What ideas do you have that we can implement to cool the earth, to have more good life experiences with each other? How do we dig ourselves out of this conundrum? I believe in this, man. I think we can do it. And let's just go, man. Let's take down capitalism, man. It's gonna happen, okay? It's just whether we'll be ready for it or if the world will just end, you know? That's really the question. Because it's gonna end eventually, whether we like it or not. Swimo out.